Hello kids, how are you? I hope you all are good. So today we'll start with a new chapter, that is Introduction to C++. So it is simply a programming language. You can say it is a general purpose programming language which is an extension of C language. So C++ is designed to be a compiled language, meaning that it is generally translated into the machine language that is understood easily by the system. So we'll learn to develop codes in this language today. So let's just begin with features of C++ language, application of C++ language, advantages of C++ language, turbo C++, starting turbo C++, components of C++ window, opening a new file, saving the file, character set in C++, tokens in C++, C++ data types, comments, C++ input and output operators. So let's just start the chapter.
Nikki, let's do work on C++. Okay. C++ is a general-purpose programming language. It was created by Bazarne Strastrup at Bell Labs Krika in 1980 as an extension of the C language. Some computer languages are written for a specific purpose. Like, Java was initially devised to control toasters and some other electronics. C was developed for programming OS. Pascal was conceptualized to teach proper programming techniques. But C++ is a general-purpose language. It well deserves the widely acknowledged nickname Swiss pocket knife of languages. C++ is designed to be a compiled language, meaning that it is generally translated into machine language that can be understood directly by the system, making the generated program highly efficient. For that, a set of tools is needed, known as the development toolchain, whose core is a compiler and its linker. Features of C++ language. Some of the interesting features of C++ are object-oriented. C++ is an object-oriented programming language. This means that the focus is on objects and manipulations around these objects. Information about how these manipulations work is abstracted out from the consumer of the object. Rich library support. Through C++ Standard Template Library, STL, many functions are available that help in quickly writing code. For instance, there are standard libraries for various containers like sets, maps, hash tables, etc. Speed. C++ is the preferred choice when latency is a critical metric. The compilation as well as the execution time of a C++ program is much faster than most other general-purpose programming languages. Compiled. A C++ code has to be first compiled into low-level code and then executed, unlike interpreted programming languages where no compilation is needed. Pointer support. C++ also supports pointers, which are widely used in programming and are often not available in several programming languages. Applications of C++ language. Operating system. C++ is the backbone of all the well-known operating systems owing to the fact that it is a strongly typed and a fast programming language which makes it an ideal choice for developing an operating system. Browsers. The rendering engines of various web browsers are programmed in C++ simply because of the speed that it offers. The rendering engines require faster execution to make sure that users don't have to wait for the content to come up on the screen. As a result, such low-latency systems employ C++ as the programming languages. Libraries. Many high-level libraries use C++ as a core programming language. For instance, several machine learning libraries use C++ in the backend because of its speed. Such libraries require high-performance computations because they involve multiplications of huge matrices for the purpose of training machine learning models. As a result, performance becomes critical. C++ comes to the rescue in such libraries. Graphics. All graphics applications require fast rendering, and just like the case of web browsers, here also C++ helps in reducing the latency. Software that employ computer vision, digital image processing, high-end graphical processing, they all use C++ as the backend programming language. Even the popular games that are heavy on graphics use C++ as the primary programming language. The speed that C++ offers in such situations helps the developers in expanding the target audience because an optimized application can run even on low-end devices that do not have high computation power available. Banking applications. Banking applications process millions of transactions on a daily basis and require high concurrency and low latency support. C++ automatically becomes the preferred choice in such applications owing to its speed and multi-threading support that is made available through various standard template libraries that come as a part of the C++ programming kit. Cloud distributed systems. Large organizations that develop cloud storage systems and other distributed systems also use C++ because it connects very well with the hardware and is compatible with a lot of machines. Telephone switches. Because of the fact that it is one of the fastest programming languages, C++ is widely used in programming telephone switches, routers and space probes. Advantages of C++ language. C++ has the following features that make it a preferred choice in most of the applications. Speed. C++ is faster than most other programming languages, and it provides excellent concurrency support. This makes it useful in those areas where performance is quite critical and the latency required is very low. Closer to hardware. C++ is closer to hardware than most other programming languages like Python, etc. This makes it useful in those areas where the software is closely coupled with hardware and low-level support is required at the software level. Turbo C++. Turbo C++ for Windows is a modified version of the Boolean Turbo C++ that can be run on newer versions of Windows, such as Vista 7, 8 and 10. In 1990, Turbo C++ was launched by Boolean with an integrated development environment, IDE. Turbo C++ for Windows bundles all the features that include a compiler, a debugger, the DOS shell, breakpoints, code inspection, watches, tracing, etc. The program also incorporates a few project samples and runs in full screen mode only. Starting Turbo C++. Double-click on Turbo C++ shortcut icon on the desktop. Turbo C++ startup screen will appear. Click on Start Turbo C++. It will run Turbo C++ on full screen mode. Components of C++ window. Menu bar. Title bar. Cursor. Scroll bar. Edit window. Status bar. Opening a new file. Click on the File menu. Click on New. A new file will open. Saving the file. Click on the File menu. Click on Save. The Save File as dialog box will open. Type a suitable name for the file followed by .cpp. Click on OK. The file name will appear on the title bar. Character set in C++. Character set is a set of valid characters that a language can recognize. A character represents any letter, digits or any other sign. C++ has the following character set. Letters, AZ, digits, 0 to 9. Special symbols, space plus, is equal to $%, and hash is equal to at. White spaces, blank space, horizontal tab, carriage return, 8, new line, form feed. Other characters, C++ can process any of the 256 ACII characters as data or as literals. Tokens in C++. Token is the smallest individual unit in C++ language. In fact, Every unit that makes a sentence in C++ is a token. C++ has following types of tokens. Keywords. The keywords are reserved by the language for specific purposes and cannot be redefined for any other purpose. Identifiers. Identifiers are the user-defined tokens that are used to name different program elements such as memory locations, functions, statements, objects, classes, etc. Identifiers are the fundamental building blocks of the program. Variables. The identifiers of memory locations are called variables. Function names. The identifiers of functions are called function names. Labels. The identifiers of the statements are called labels. Constants. Constants are the tokens that represent data items that never change their values during the program run. The constants are also known as literals. There are mainly three types of constants. Integer constants. The tokens constituted by only the digits are called integer constants. These are the whole numbers without the fractional part. An integer constant may contain either plus or sign as the first character, which indicate whether the number is positive or negative. For example, plus 125, 123 are positive integer constants and 123, 45 are negative integer constants. Character constants. Any valid C++ character enclosed in a pair of single quotes is a character constant. A character constant may not contain more than one character in the single pair quotes. For example, A2 are valid character constants. Adib, 123 are not valid character constants. String constants. A sequence of one or more characters enclosed within a pair of double quotes is known as the string constant. Adib, 123, C++ are valid examples for the string constant. When these string constants are stored in memory, the last memory location, last bit, will be stored a null character, 0, to indicate the end of the string constant. Punctuators. Punctuators are the tokens that are used to separate the tokens used in the program, and hence they are also known as separators. The punctuators in C++ are the brace and, parenthesis, and brackets, and, comma, semicolon, winking smiley, asterisk, colon happy smiley, number signs such as hash, hash. Operators. Operators are the tokens that trigger some kind of operations on the data. The data on which the operations are carried out are called operands. The symbols used to operations are called operators. For example, in the operation A plus B, A and B are operands and the symbol plus is the operator. C++ data types. A data type is nothing but a group of similar data under a single name. Similar data types share similar characteristics and behave in a similar fashion, like occupying the same amount of computer memory, being used to achieve the same purpose. Following are the commonly used data types. Char. For character storage, 1 byte. Example, char A is equal to a character type. Int. For integral number, 2 bytes. Example, int A is equal to 1, integer type. Float. Single precision floating point, 4 bytes. Example, float A is equal to 3.14159, floating point type. Double. Double precision floating point numbers, 8 bytes. Example, double A is equal to 6E4, double type, E is for exponential. Comments. Comments are portions of the code ignored by the compiler which allow the user to make simple notes in the relevant areas of the source code. Comments come either in block form or as single lines. There are mainly two types of comments in C++. These are single line comment. It is used to denote a single line comment. It applies comment to a single line only. It is referred to as C++ style comments, as it is originally part of C++ programming. It is represented as // for example. Count today is Monday, single line comment. The statement followed by won't be accessed by the compiler. Multi-line comment. This type of comment deactivates group of lines when applied. This type of comments are applied with the help of the operators and. These comments start with and end with. This means everything that falls between and is considered as a comment, even though it is spread across many lines. For example, hash include void main, count hello world. This is the program to print hello world for demonstration of comments. In the above program, the statements between and will be ignored by the compiler. C++ input and output operators. Input coming from the user's terminal, referred to as standard input, and is tied to the predefined IOStream CIN and output directed to the user's terminal, referred to as standard output, and is tied to the predefined IOStream cout. C++ input operator. The input operator, get from, also known as stream extraction operator, is used to read a value from standard input. C++ output operator. The output operator, put to, also called stream insertion operator, is used to direct a value to standard output.